talking Bill Belichick and North Carolina Tar Heels. Michael Lombardi, who obviously was on McAfee's show and a longtime NFL executive and general manager with Bill, he came out and said everything we do here is predicated on building a pro team. We consider ourselves the 33rd team. Now, Coach Fred, I got to ask you, this is the new college football, in my opinion. It's professional football. We've seen Deion Sanders among every other coach in college football treated as such. You see Bill Belichick coming from the NFL to college and saying, hey, if we recruit you, we think you're an NFL guy. We think you're a pro guy. What are your initial thoughts on the approach of Michael Lombardi and Bill Belichick and how they're building that North Carolina program?
It sounds great, Bailey, on, to say, put it on paper, sounds great. But we've all heard the stories of Coach Belichick, and it's going to be a quick adjustment period for him.
Right.
Because, the one time in this day and age, whoever that number one player is at North Carolina, the one time that he goes up one side and down the other, how is that kid going to take that? Not saying you need to soften your approach or whatever, but, in this day and age in college football, AAA football, because you're right, it's professional now. AAA football, you have to kind of be strategic in the way you do things. And I like it. It sounds great. They're going to attract some kids off the portal, I would think.
Yeah.
Guys, hey, I'm trying to get to the next level. I know he's been at the level. I know he can give me what I need to get to the next level. But how many? How many of those guys? So that's going to be interesting. But I like their approach.
Well, I covered Bill Belichick. He brought in a large transfer portal class earlier in the year, and in total, he's brought in a lot of kids, including some high school freshmen as well. We obviously saw Bill out recruiting. We see all the Twitter and Instagram posts of Bill out recruiting and taking pictures with different recruits and stuff. Bill Belichick's definitely out recruiting, doing it the old school way, which we don't see Prime do. But it's interesting. Sticking on this North Carolina team, I got to show a clip of Michael Lombardi, obviously general manager, just talking about how they're building this North Carolina Tar Heels program. Take a listen to this.
Brand. I mean, we have this UNC logo is worldwide, so we shouldn't limit ourselves. I think that we can walk into any school and say we're North Carolina. We have the greatest coach in the history of football, and we have a great university. Come play for us. I think it's a powerful message. We have a great
hell of a recruiting ploy. You get to sit here and say Belichick got all the rings. We saw him at NFL Honors with his 24-year-old girlfriend wearing all the rings. But Coach, what are your thoughts on Lombardi's comments?
I mean, it's they're doing it the right way. I think they're saying the right things. That's going to be a tough league, though.
Right.
So, you figure a lot of those teams are going to, have gotten better. I'll say this to what you just put up the last graphic, Bailey. We went really heavy one year in the transfer portal, and we got some dudes on paper, but the problem was we couldn't get them to mesh.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It just didn't mesh. It was great on paper. I mean, it was, we had to the championship game. We keep everybody healthy. We kept everybody healthy, and we were 6-6.
Right.
It just never clicked. You got a bunch of guys that are 6-month rentals, essentially what it is.
Right.
So that's going to be the key with all those transfers, and that's going to be the adjustment for him. But I guess it wouldn't be, because I guess that's the same as in their mindset, free agency from where coach just came from.
Yeah, and the pros, yeah. And that's really my biggest point with this is I think that in this college landscape, you're seeing a lot of coaches either get out or a lot of coaches are saying, I don't want anything to do with this. I think Lombardi and Belichick's approach is it's just looking at it for what it is. It's a business. It's the wild, wild west, and this is what the NCAA wanted. And they're saying, you know what? We're going to treat it as such, and we're going to just run it, try and run it to the best of our ability. And it'll be interesting, as this NIL shift happens, going to revenue sharing and all this stuff, and how Title IX plays into it, and all this crazy stuff we're going to see unfold here in the next few months. I mean, Bill Belichick, I mean, getting to work here, and they, like Lombardi says, they consider themselves the 33rd NFL team. So,
Triple A.
yeah, exactly. And I enjoy covering them. We'll cover them in depth. You mentioned their league, the ACC. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how the ACC plays out. You're seeing Dabo and Clemson get into the transfer portal a little bit. I don't know what's going to happen with Florida State. They obviously bring in Castanel, the Boston College quarterback, Bill O'Brien got rid of, I believe, or cut. You're going to see SMU and see how SMU reloads under Rhett Lashley. You're going to see all kinds of teams. Georgia Tech, who's got to go play Colorado week 1. Whew.
Louisville. Coach Braun at Louisville is going to have those guys. I mean, they were right there at the end as well.
And then what do you expect out of Miami and Carson Beck? Coach, I'll ask you, what do you expect out of that team?
For the money they've paid for that team, man, they've got to do more than the Pop-Tart Bowl, And there's no knock on the Pop-Tart Bowl. The Pop-Tart Bowl is probably one of the better bowls, man, pageantry-wise. It's probably one of the better ones, but it's not where they paid to be. They paid to be in the playoffs. So, it is insane for me to even think about them giving a kid, they say $6 million, but, anywhere between $5 and $6 million to come play quarterback for 6 months. That is insane to me.
Yeah,
it's even more insane if you don't get to the playoffs.
Right. Yeah, that's true. And man, do you think that they got screwed with the rankings? I don't think so, because I think
that was a bad loss in Syracuse, and it wasn't enough time to come back from that loss.
They had also almost lost at Cal, the Virginia Tech Hail Mary. They had quite the run. They had
to come back in a lot of those games that they were supposed to outright win, so to speak.
Yeah, amen. That's fact. Well, we'll cover the ACC in depth. Wild West, Coach. This wild college football landscape we're in, but